Hello, and very happy to see you on my channel. This morning, we give you a piece of breaking news. A body language expert claims Meghan Markle completely rules over Harry. On July 1st, 2020, the Sussex duo took part in yet another video chat, this time with the Queen's Commonwealth Trust, where the duo puzzlingly still hold honorary positions, despite Buckingham Palace announcing the Sussexes would no longer represent the Queen. I would say them representing an official body that is named after the Queen and works on her behalf is representing the Queen. So either Buckingham Palace are incredibly weak or they have clung to these roles and won't let go. A heavily edited version of the video chat hit the social media platforms on 6th of July, where the duo was joining others in a discussion on equality, fairness, and justice. Bearing in mind this was a discussion aimed at, encouraging others to discuss the issues raised, it was a little puzzling to see comments turned off on Instagram and YouTube, where the video was uploaded. Was the Queen's Commonwealth Trust a little afraid of the public opinions and that a few home truths about the Sussex duo that they don't want to hear would be posted? And today, a body language expert has claimed Meghan Markle completely rules over Prince Harry. Speaking to dailymail.com, body language expert Blanca Cobb analyzed the couple's physical presence with one another in the video, saying that Meghan shows vulnerability toward Harry and he shows a tendency to support her, and that Meghan is very much the center of Harry's world. Meghan and Harry are juggling couples, Cobb observed. Their physical positions in the video are significant because it gives a sense of the dominance in their relationship, she went on. Meghan is dead center with Harry off to her right, which showcases Meghan as the center of his world. Sitting slightly behind her with her right shoulder in front of his left symbolically shows that he's got her, that he supports her, that she can control him, she said. I think that Harry looks slightly uncomfortable in parts of the video because of the subject matter, Cobb added. At one point, while Meghan talks about complacency and complicity, Harry tightens his lips, which indicates his dislike and irritation about people not taking action that let Meghan talk. Later, when Meghan talks about people being uncomfortable, Harry tightens his lips again, indicating his tension about the situation. There isn't too much to say about the video that hasn't been said before, but the Queen's Commonwealth Trust did add a new disclaimer to their website, stating that opinions don't reflect the views of members of the royal family. However, Harry and Meghan Markle have now publicly stated on video that they support Black Lives Matter. Cobb continues, "What we see is the same old wall, poor camera work where they appear to be standing rather than sitting down, with Harry being elbowed out of the picture by Meghan Markle numerous times, with the usual key phrases and irritating hand gestures. Harry seems so excitable with his hand gestures, I thought he was going to hit the camera, as they both struggled to stay still, swaying here and there when they should have been seated like the others, as normal people do." Meanwhile, on the Harry Markle blog, the author said there was nothing new the duo could add to the conversation, and it seemed to be a blend of Meghan Markle's Immaculate Heart address and Harry's Diana Award speech. Thrown into the salad today was the usual institutionalized racism, and both went over the top on unconscious bias, where Harry got animated like an agitated marionette. He then went on again to apologize for the world and the failures of the generations before him, which people quite rightly are angry about. Harry has the right to speak for himself, but he doesn't speak for the UK nation. He doesn't speak for all the generations before him, and he doesn't speak for the world either. In fact, he doesn't represent anyone else but himself. And people are insulted that he thinks he has the right to pontificate to the world. The fact is, he is shacked up in a stranger's house with no job, no status, living in a foreign country, is broke. Otherwise, we want all the Frogmore Cottage monies now. Has no friends, and his family is keeping their distance from him. Meanwhile, he persists in instigating frivolous lawsuits against the media and attacks the world in favor of building a new system, and a world that suits his narrative. Meghan Markle does her usual routine and doesn't let Harry speak, and is seen taking over from the host of the conversation when others talk. She goes on to make a call for action and also claims those who are complacent are complicit in enabling racism. It's a rather aggressive statement to make and is offensive because it's a difficult issue to tackle, and safety is first and foremost. Depending on where you live, being active can get you killed. So appearing to be complacent can keep your heart beating, which is much better than being buried in a cemetery. Meghan Markle waffles on, adding she has personal experience of racism, while she basically takes up airtime just saying words with no meaning or substance. Her voice is like white noise, similar to a noisy fan in the background that you get used to ignoring. Harry goes on stupidly to state that the past must be acknowledged and the wrongs must be made right. Talk about a political and controversial hotbed that isn't only misinformed, but is packed with hypocrisy. History exists, and from it we learn, but we can't change the past. And the past has been acknowledged, as is evident with the civil rights movement and laws that protect equality. The Race Relations Act, 1965, 1968, 1976, and then Race Relations Amendment in 2000, which then led to the Equality Act, 2010. How does he think his granny and those before her got their wealth, the funding he is living off? It came from colonial and Commonwealth sweat and blood. So perhaps to right a wrong, Harry could give up all the money he has ever had from the royal family, if he truly meant his words. His army pay is the only money he has earned, and only just at that. And perhaps he needs to read a history book properly and not the York Notes before he starts lecturing the world on how he will help build a new world. The aim was to discuss historic injustice, yet justice persists to this day. This, of course, is another audition tape for potential marks to show that the duo can facilitate and moderate talks. The reality is that Meghan Markle took over from the host of the chat rudely, and both were trying too hard and were so animated that it looks scripted. Moderators get paid handsomely, but it is a skill that few are able to do well, to keep a conversation on topic and to control the speakers. They appear desperate and eager to please, yet by advocating action, they are encouraging and promoting protests and riots. By publicly supporting and endorsing Black Lives Matter, is that so they can gain the support of the masses right now? The irony was in that Meghan Markle stated that people who have done wrong need to put their hands up and to admit to their actions. This is a time of reckoning when individuals should put their hands up to own their past wrongdoings. Perhaps Meghan Markle needs to heed her own advice, and also her 5 friends who have wronged Thomas Markle. An apology to the British perhaps too, although her words are meaningless and we'd rather have the money back from the wedding, security costs, and Frogmore Cottage too, both in a lump sum. The question is, should they still represent the Queen in the QCT, and despite the disclaimer, surely expressing such strong and biased opinions are unwise? The aims were, however, to draw in new fans and an audience, as well as to show potential clients that they offer a word salad menu. The 12-month review is 9 months away, which is 9 months too long, as people are calling for the Sussex titles and funding to be removed with immediate effect. How much more damage can the royal family weather? And is it fair on the British public to have to endure this? Their body language shows they are both squeezed into the camera frame, nothing else. Harry was, is, and continues to be a vehicle to fame and fortune. He is either brain dead or acquiescent. He mirrors her in every instance. There is no love or self-respect in their relationship. Harry is weak and follows, and she is all about narcissistic control. Indeed, many fans from the Daily Mail also blast them. One said, "What's going on with the permanent filter they always use on their videos? Poor Harry really must feel that he is aging fast to use these. That or Meghan Markle thinks this. If he is aging fast, why do you think this is Harry? I don't care what any language expert says. If Meghan Markle loves him that much, there is no way she would have let him give everything and everyone up. I'm not referring to them being part of the royal family, but her allowing his relationships with family members to sour." A fan agrees and replied to him, Give it up. He's weak-minded, childish, arrogant, and lost, and she's controlling, manipulative, and aggressive. He falls in with what she says or there's trouble. It's like a 12-year-old getting married. You only have to see this jumped-up woman doing royal engagements where she pushes ahead of Harry completely against protocol. She will be a very expensive mistake for him and won't go quietly. And the last one wrote, I always watch their videos with the sound off for a couple of reasons. First, I can't stand to listen to the meaningless nonsense they spew. Second, it's interesting to focus on their facial expressions and mannerisms, separate from what they're saying. In this video, Markle does almost all the talking. Nobody else says much of anything besides her. She's had her lips plumped, and they've both been boxed. Harry looks listless, tired, his gaze wanders vaguely off camera at times. His eyes are almost closed much of the time. He looks like he's not sure where he is. If I were his brother watching this, I'd be concerned about Harry's mental state. And you? What do you think about their body language? Please let me know in the comment section below and we can discuss. Remember to like and share my video for anyone you think also needs it. And subscribe to my channel to get more news from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry by my team. Now, thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you in the next video.
Harry is making a big mistake when he gives up his job and cedes Meghan. Harry has no say in the family of three. He is like a rabbit in a cage. His job is to graze and silent. No privilege, making Harry increasingly mentally depressed.